are recognized for a 2-minute opening speech.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm Matthew Freeman from the California delegation, and I reserve my right to yield the remainder of my time to my summation.
That is your right.
Managing money is hard enough as it is, but when the entire world economy depends on your decisions, it's nearly impossible. That's why no bank should be so big that the whole economy relies on its success. No bank should be too big to fail. But right now, many are, and it's because of one thing: the repeal of Sections 20 and 32 of the Glass-Steagall Act. This repeal allowed an investment bank like Goldman Sachs that invests in stocks and bonds, and a commercial bank like Wells Fargo, where you save your money, to combine under one company, or equivalently for one bank to perform the operations of both an investment bank and a commercial bank. You see, before, a bank could only operate in one sector of the financial system, but now, a bank could conceivably operate in deposits and investments. That might not seem like a big deal, but basically it means that one or two banks could essentially dominate our financial markets. And if they collapse, then we all go down with them. We need to make sure that the American people are not in that kind of danger. That is why I propose that we reinstate Sections 20 and 32 of the Glass-Steagall Act. This would again prohibit a bank from participating in both investments and deposits at the same time. You see, it's no coincidence that less than 10 years after the repeal of these sections of Glass-Steagall, we suffered our worst economic collapse since the Great Depression. As soon as it was legal, many companies further expanded their banking industries into either deposits or investments. And when they did start to collapse in 2007, they did bring us all down with them, eventually resulting in $12.4 trillion of government bailouts. $12.4 trillion. Ultimately, we have two options. We can continue with the dangerous deregulation that led to this crisis in the first place, or, which we urge you to do, we can implement a little bit more sensible government regulation by reinstating Sections 20 and 32 of the Glass-Steagall Act. Thank you, and I yield my time to my submission.
Thank you, Delegate. You've yielded 6 seconds. We are now in line for 2 minutes of non-debatable technical questions. Robinson, Sherman, New Mexico, Body, Georgia, and Oklahoma.
Mr. Sherman, and I am from Florida. What do Sections 20 and 32 say?
Section 22 typically pertains to commercial banks, which disallows them from underwriting, which is the practice of purchasing or selling stocks or bonds, financial securities. And it also permits them from affiliating with a larger investment bank that performs those functions. 32 is the reciprocal.
Thank you, Author. Remember to display your placard when asking technical questions. Continue.
Birkenholtz from Oklahoma. Could you please give us the reasons that were given at the time?
That is debatable.
Brad City, New Mexico. What does the second article under the two that you're trying to repeal do? You just explained the first. What was the second?
The second is the reciprocal of the first, so it permits investment firms from performing the functions of a commercial bank.
Jerry Robinson, DC delegation. My question is, would this not be prohibited by the antitrust policy that we are trying to use?
No, antitrust policies do not pertain to bank
Thank you, Author.
Body from the state of Mississippi. Do all commercial banks come under the authority of the Federal Reserve?
No, they do not.
Will House, with my grant teacher, the chair. Would this in any way affect the Federal Depositors Insurance Corporation?
No, we're not.
One more technical question. All right. Gallagher, sorry.
Gallagher State, Alabama. Did mortgage securities or mortgage security lines bring down the financial market in 2008?
That is debatable. We will now move into con-pro debate. We'll begin with the con speaker. Chair recognizes Wagner.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Sean Wagner, Arizona. I reserve the right to yield the remainder of my time to Representative McConnell.
That is your right.
I strongly oppose this proposal, and I yield the remainder of my time to Representative McConnell.
Thank you, previous delegate. Thank you, Madam Chair. Bill Without from the Grand Canyon State of Arizona. I certainly applaud both the relevance and intention of this proposal in trying to solve what is a major problem, which is financial incontinence, which has plagued our system. But for a few key reasons, I just can't support it. First, I would say that allowing commercial and investment banks to come together and invest money increases their loading capabilities. For instance, the Federal Reserve maintains what's called a reserve requirement on banks. What this means is that they lower this reserve requirement, the actual money that has to be in the bank, when they want to make it easier for the bank to loan. More loaning means more spending, which generally creates a greater amount of economic health. So I feel like, in a certain sense, this proposal throws out the baby with the bathwater by instead of targeting specific practices, like, for instance, the Sarbanes-Oxley Act or the Dodd-Frank Act does. It instead generally targets a policy which, on the whole, can actually increase lending and increase economic growth. Moreover, I would contend that the pattern of deregulation that actually led up to the financial crisis starting in the 1980s, it's a bit deceitful for the proposal authors to contend that it was simply the repeal of these two sections of the Glass-Steagall Act, which in and of themselves caused the crisis. They're simply attempting to associate the whole of this crisis with a specific action, which is in and of itself not true. So for these reasons, again, I think it's a great idea for a proposal. The technicalities preclude my support. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate. We are now in line for a pro speaker. The Chair recognizes Kat.
Joseph Cott from the Commonwealth of Virginia. I reserve my right to yield the remainder of my time to the delegate from the UN.
That is your right.
Personally, I think this is a great proposal. A bank that is taking people's money, putting it in savings and saying, we'll keep your money, we'll give you some interest, take care of it for you, so that you can access it anytime you want, should not be able to take that same money and place it in a risky investment in which they could lose that money simply on the basis that they also have the opportunity to make more money. That is why we have investment banks in the first place, so people who want to do that can. But we shouldn't have banks that just take anybody's savings and does that to do that because not everybody wants their money placed in risky investments. And with that, I yield the remainder of my time to the delegate from Model U.
Thank you, Delegate. You've yielded 40 seconds.
Benjamin Schwartz, MUN. Thank you, Madam Chair. I would like to say that history has always shown that the U.S. has a strong anti-monopolistic policy and an anti-overgrowth of business. This has been seen in the Sherman antitrust, followed by Clayton antitrust, which led to the trust-busting activities of Teddy Roosevelt and Taft. It has always been known that overexpansion is bad. This can be seen by the fact that an overexpansion can lead to a downfall, which is often attributed to why the Great Depression happened. It was attributed to overexpansion of Ford Industries. The fact of the matter is...
Thank you, Delegate. Time has elapsed. We are now in line for a con speaker, and amendments are now in order and will remain in order for 5 minutes.